Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined with the one and only Mr. Andrew Hansen for some big-time Monday KBO. Are you ready for some action there, Mr. Andrew Hansen?
Oh, I'm ready. 8 hours of sleep last night consecutively. It feels like an 8-game hitting streak or something. I mean, this is just terrific after the day off in KBO. So hopefully everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. And yeah, let's get after it here.
Yeah, it's some good stuff, no doubt about it. It is Monday, July 6th, and we're joining you from DFS Coach Talk. Like to thank our two sponsors right off the jump here, and that's mybookie.ag. That's the place to go for all your sports wagering and casino action. Go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, and you get a 50% sign-up bonus up to $1,000 and a $25 free play. And also our horse racing friends at TVG. Go to our website, DFS Coach Talk, click on the TVG logo, and sign up, and you receive a risk-free bet all the way to 300 bananas. That's a lot of bananas, so give it a shot. Also, if you're watching this on our YouTube station right below, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. It means a lot to our channel as we grow. And if you're listening to us on all of our podcast outlets, which is pretty much everywhere you can find a podcast, please take a second to rate, review, subscribe, thumbs up, a like, hit the little alarm button, as I do with the podcast that I know that I want to listen to each day, because they give you a very nice ding, and there it is. Your podcast is up. It's ready for you. So I would highly recommend that also. All right, we're fired up here. We had a solid KBO week last week. We're transitioning to earlier shows, so you're going to see this podcast, instead of posting early evening or mid-evening, you're going to see it posting more around lunchtime now. And the reason is we want to give the opportunity for some more of our listeners. We've had a few send in some suggestions, to post earlier so they can listen at work. I guess, but rather than working, it much more fun listening to us.
That's right.
And, or on your lunch break or on your way home in traffic, whatever the case may be. So it gives you a little extra time there. Plus, it helps indoctrinate all of us to what's coming in 3 weeks here or less with baseball and basketball. We'll obviously be doing these shows around this time probably, so that you have the time to do our 3-step method, which I'll share with you real quickly here. Check the podcast out in the morning or lunchtime when we release it. This is for all sports now, even KBO, because we're making it earlier. Throughout the day, check us out. Follow us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. We're posting information. Jump in Discord when you can to see anything that's going on throughout the day, any news, so you can start creating your shell lineups and getting in the contests that you want to get in. You don't want to wait till the last minute, especially with the hysteria of baseball and basketball coming back. Those good tournaments and those good contests are going to fill. So you want to get that lineup even in there, even if it's just a holder lineup. And then the key factor at the end of that, the third step and most important, is get in here with us in Discord 30 to 40 minutes before lock. We're in there discussing players. We're confirming lineups. We're checking injuries. We're checking the weather to make sure that all of that works. So you've got to get in there to get that finalized. That creates an edge for you in every sport, as it does with KBO. Now, with KBO, it's a little rougher because, they've got the 5:30 a.m. Eastern start again today. Tonight, this morning, however you want to say it. So, we'll be in there at probably 10 to 5. For me and Dallas, it'll be 10 to 4. So it's a little tougher, but it's creating a lot of wins for us in KBO. And then when regular sports come back, we'll have much more reasonable time frame that everybody should be up and alert and ready to make those changes with us. So wanted to share all of that before we jumped in, because it is a little bit of a shift today with the earlier one, and we're just so fired up. I mean, to have multiple sports coming, it just, I can barely talk about it. I'm so fired up. I keep holding my breath every day because I'm so terrified that are like not going to play because of COVID. It's like, please nothing bad, no news, no bad news. All right, brother, let's rock and roll. KTW, the KT Wiz, 25-28 at the Kia Tigers, 27-23. We have Jae-Sung Bae at 4-2 with a 3.66 for KTW, and Ki Young Im is 4-3 with a 2.99. Our good friends at mybookie.ag, the up-to-date odds to this moment has Kia minus 142, and the over-under is 9.5. And to give you an idea, very similar to what we see in KBO, we have 1 8.5, 2 9.5, and 2 10.5, just to give you an idea what Vegas is looking like on total runs. All right, man, we need all this KT Kia knowledge from the one and only Hansen.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do here. So, unfortunately for me, the theme of this slate is there's not a lot of clarity for me in a lot of these matchups, where I can see the justification for using the pitcher. I can also see the justification for using some of the batters on the other side. So that's going to be the challenge for me as we go through. There was a lot more clarity on our last slate. On the Saturday night into Sunday, we gave out 3 pitchers in our DraftKings player pool to our members. All 3 of them were money. Our hitters were money. It was excellent. So it's going to be more of a challenge today to really narrow it down to a tight focus. But we'll see what we can do here. So in this first matchup, the better pitcher has been Kia's pitcher. That's probably why they're the favorite. Ki Young Im, he has an ERA under 3, good strikeout rate. He was solid against KT Wiz the first time, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. But Baek-ho Kang didn't play that day, and he's a real slugger. Lefties are hitting 284 against Im. So, there's just not a lot of clarity here. I will have some exposure to these bats. Young-ho Joe is a really nice value, 2,700. When they faced off earlier, the key guys only got 2 at-bats. So Joe had a walk and a single. Mm-hmm. Jay Bay had a single and a double in his 2 at-bats. He's only 3,100. Yeah. Rojas had a double. And like I said, B. Kang didn't play. So those 4 guys are the ones I'm most interested in, and I will get some exposure to them. On the flip side, Jae-Sung Bae, lefties are hitting 366 against him, so you got to consider Tucker and Cha. Right. We know that Tucker's been slumping.
Yeah. And his price hasn't gone down.
His price hasn't gone down, and although Jae-Sung Bae, lefties are hitting really well against him, he has had 2 straight strong outings. And then the thing with Kia is Sunbun Kim is out for multiple weeks here. He just hurt his thigh and his ankle. And without him in the lineup, he went 2 for 3 against him in the last matchup. In the last matchup, Bae only gave up 4 hits to Kia, and Sunbun Kim had 2 of them in 5 innings. So, again, just not much clarity for me. I mean, I could see you, if you really want to get different, you could put Jae-Sung Bae out there. The problem with him is he has a low strikeout rate. So, I'm going to stay away from that matchup mostly.
Okay. Yeah. For me, this is the game that I don't have clarity like you. This game, I just bantered back and forth in multiple ways, looking at the pitchers, looking at the hitters. The other 4 games I feel very, very clear about. I have some strong plays, but I ended up this way, saying, okay, I don't know which direction I really feel comfortable with here. I think Im is probably my 3rd best pitcher on the slate, and Bae may be my 4th best pitcher. So for me, I only play 2 because I'm building cash lineups. Occasionally I'll use a 3rd, but I'm not sure on our DraftKings player pool if either one or both will make it. But for me, they were 3 and 4. So I respect them enough that I don't want to play any of these hitters against them, especially with a couple of the injuries. And they were just not quite where I needed them to be to make my pitching lineup, but I respect enough that I'm completely passing the game.
Okay.
All right, game 2 is the LG Twins, 29 and 24 at the Doosan Bears, 31 and 22. We have Woo Chan Che at 4 and 4 with a 5.54, and Young Ha Lee at 2 and 4 with a 5.81. And our friends at mybookie.ag have Doosan barely minus 125 favored. So just by a little. They're usually a bigger favorite than that at home. I say that, and it just went up to 128. So we're talking up to the second. So they're 128 favorites, and the over-under, this is one of the 2 10.5 games. So it looks as though Vegas is saying light up the scoreboard possibly in this one. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, this is one where I'm not interested in the pitchers, more interested in the bats, and mostly in Doosan. They absolutely...
No, you never stacked Doosan. Come on.
They absolutely crushed Woo Chan Cha last time out. It was just awful. 1 inning, 8 earned runs. He pitched into the second inning. He just couldn't get anybody out.
Yeah.
You know, he went basically 2 times through the order, and he only got 3 outs. So it was a mess. So as a lefty here, I do like the righties against him. This season, righties are hitting 291 with 4 homers.
Yeah.
And so you got to look at K. Her and K. Park. They were a strong combination on the last slate. K. Her was 5 for 5. K. Park hit a home run. And I think there's a real strong chance they'll be batting first and third in the order. So there's a nice combo.
Yeah.
And the other righty you can consider is Jae-Ho Kim. He's back in the lineup, 3,200. The shortstop, and then the lefties are all in play, but I'm not going to have, monster Doosan stacks here. I'm going to focus on the righties. And then for LG, this is not a good pitcher either for Doosan, but the thing is he's only given up 2 home runs all season. So I'm not going to get as much exposure to LG's bats. You got to look at H. Kim, though. 3 straight games with a homer. He's only 5,000. So I'll have some exposure to him. Ramos, also 5,000, still a decent price for him. But again, I'm more interested in the Doosan bats here.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Doosan side. I think I'll have a mini stack there, 2 or 3 guys. I think this is a great night, believe it or not, for Fernandez. I know it's lefty against lefty. It's going to hurt his ownership, but he hits lefties. And I don't know how long this guy's going to last anyway. It just seems like, when you can get Fernandez at a really decent ownership number, when he's not super popular, you can really make yourself different. And, if he puts up a 35-point fantasy night, you're way ahead of the game. I agree, K. Her's a nice sneaky play. Jae-Hwan Kim is going to make some of my lineups. I'm going to mix, like I say, 2 or 3 guys from Doosan. It's just too sweet of a spot. I'm not going to go crazy with it because I know I say this every day, but when Doosan's playing at home, they score like 2 runs less than they do on the road. So I know that isn't going to always be the case, but it's a stat that you got to notice because it's really bizarre that it's that much of a difference. But still, I can't get away from, at least 2, possibly 3 from the Doosan side. On the LG side, you always look at Ramos. You see him against a right-hander that's not that great, and his power, and everybody wants to play him because he got so much press early on. He's got 1 homer in his last 43 at-bats. That's a big, big red light for me. Now, can he hit 3 bombs in 1 game? No doubt about it. But I just need to see that he's getting a little hotter before I take up my first base position with him. So even though I'm not crazy about the Doosan pitcher, Doosan is a tougher park to score runs in when they're playing at home. So I think I'm going to lay off the Twins and just do a little mini stack with Doosan.
Well said.
Thank you. Game 3, Lotte Giants 24-27 with Juan Sam Jang, the lefty, 0-2 with a cool 10.00. For the old timers, I call that the Bo Derek, the perfect 10.
Yep.
So now you young folks out there, go look at Bo Derek running down the beach. You'll respect the coach. You'll respect the coach at that point. All right. And then Hanwha Eagles 13-40. Ouch. With Shi Huan Jiang 1-4 with a 5.50 ERA. So let's see what our friends at MyBookie have to say about this one. And we have a -172 for the Lotte Giants, the second largest spread on the board. And this is the other 10.5 run game. So it's Lotte, Hanwha, and possibly some solid runs. I'll give you a small hint. This is my favorite stack on the card.
Wow. Okay.
So I won't tell you which one. I'll let you roll with it.
Are you going with the team with 40 losses? We'll have to wait and see here for a minute.
No,
let me break it down.
I'm not. It's too early to be drunk. So it is Lotte, but go ahead.
All right. So we may see this one a little bit differently. I think Lotte, that -176 is a little bit steep here. For Hanwha, we've got Shi Huan Jiang. You mentioned the high ERA, but he's had 3 straight strong starts. He's excellent with strikeouts, 53 strikeouts in only 44 2/3. Yeah. The biggest weakness for him are lefties. They hit 366 against him with 3 homers, but he's strong against righties. This is a lineup that's full of righties. So I'll have some exposure to Shi Huan Jiang. He's in my player pool for pitchers. Yep. And I kind of like some of these Hanwha bats as well. The pitcher for Lotte.
Did you have something in your coffee this morning that wasn't?
It's wide open and clean.
All right, man.
Here's the thing. The funny thing is that Jiang has an ERA of 10. He's had 2 starts. They were both bad against Doosan and the Dinos. As a lefty, lefties are hitting 524 against him.
My God.
This is a very small sample size, but they're 11 for 21 against him. And it's just funny that a lefty with an ERA of 10, righties are only hitting 211 against him. Again, small sample size, 4 for 19. But I'm going to look at getting some exposure to Hanwha, the batters 1 through 5, and you've got 2 lefties and then 3 righties. It's the Wai Lee and Yi Jung are the lefties. They're both hitting over 300 against lefties. And then the power guys are 3, 4, 5. Jin Hang Cha, the outfielder, for 3,300. He has 3 homers this year in only 50 at-bats. Tai Kyun Kim, the veteran first baseman, 3,500. He can go deep. And then Jae-hoon Cha, a catcher who I've only played a couple times all season, but if he's hitting in the 5-hole at 3,100, a righty with 2 homers against this weak lefty, I'll have him in some lineups as well.
Yeah. No, I like the hitters you pointed out. I don't have the confidence certainly in Mr. Shi Huan Jiang to roster him, but my Lotte stack comes with my favorite whisper, Asiop San. When I said that the other day, he threw 28.3 up on the board. It seems like when I play him, he does well. So I'm going to say it again and play him again. I don't play him, probably 2-3 times a week. He is one of my favorite players, but I try to pick his spots. I think this being a lefty against Jiang is just a perfect spot for him, and I think he'll set the table. I do like the 3-4 hitters as well. That's my stack there. I like San, Jian, and Lee. I know statistically against righties, he's better, but I think the sample size is a little small. I don't think he's that good of a pitcher personally on my side. So I do see this being one of the highest scoring games on the night. So I'll probably stack and not have to spend all my money by going 2, 3, 4 with Lotte. And it's funny, on Hanwha, I have two guys plugged in my lineup. And if you see double or you stutter, it's perfect because I have Jay-Cha.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I'm playing both of them. I like Jay-Cha, the DH that's batting third. I think he'll smack Jang around. And this catcher, he's not normally this high in the order. I think we've only used him one other time this year, and he's solid. He's not bad at all. Looks like, the reason they may play him up, and again, we don't know. This isn't solidified lineups. These are just pre-lineups. But even if he drops down another spot to sixth, at that price for the catcher, you can't beat it. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. If you can't get D Park from Kiwoom and you can't get Yang from the Dinos, it comes to, all right, where's the next best catcher in the best spot against the best pitcher? That's really what I've done all season, and it's worked. And today I think it's Jay-Cha from Lotte or from Hanwha. So that's we'll look to get some relief there. Now this game has a 13% rain rating. It's the only game that has any real rain issue possibilities. Now, I state that I would normally not even mention it, but we have seen 16% games rain out. So we're still way, way ahead of the time. We will be following the radar and checking out what's going on. We'll be posting things on Twitter throughout the afternoon and evening if anything changes. Because as we know, if there is or isn't a rain out, can completely change an entire slate because a lot of people don't get up in the middle of the night to change their lineup. So stay tuned to us on Twitter throughout the day. You can follow us at DFS Coach Talk. I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. Andrew is at Language Olympic. And Shane is at DET Sports Shane. So follow us throughout the day. And then, of course, the best thing possible is jump in as a member. You can go to DFS Coach Talk, join for a month. It's only the 6th of July. We don't start the time on that month membership until July 30th. So you're still getting almost 4 weeks free. And we're doing that because we felt it was the right thing to do, is to, freeze those memberships. So for the next, for almost 4 weeks, you could be a part of everything we're doing at DFS Coach Talk. Check out, all the stuff we have in Discord. And then certainly the key being able to get